Good evening and welcome to this session of the live virtual coaching classes conducted by the Board of Studies of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Today we are on the last leg of our discussions on appointment and qualification of directors, which is chapter 11 of the of the Companies Act. And I'm sorry. Just give me 1 minute. So this is chapter 11 of the Companies Act and the first chapter in your syllabus. I also have a lot of people coming in. More of you can also just sort of log in and say good evening. So I'll know you guys are there. And of course, keep the questions flowing. So we've already covered quite a lot of, content. And we've come to almost 100 slides, if I remember right. And so I think 98, I stopped, which is DIN. We started DIN. Okay, we saw appointment of directors in various methods. We saw deemed reappointment, tribunal, etc., etc. Then we come to DIN. We saw what is a DIN. Then we said the DIN will be every director who is proposing to become a director, or rather every person who wants to become a director should apply for a DIN. Now this is the format. This also we saw. Finally, we said that the central government should allot the DIN within 1 month and communicate. Okay. In case there is a defective or incomplete, then they can order resubmission within 15 days. Right? We also saw about surname and all that. Now, suppose it's a defective or incomplete. Usually, our experience is that most of the time it's incomplete because, see, the identity proof may not tally with the address proof. Some KYC issues. In many cases, there is a sort of a disconnect between ID proof and address proof. Okay. Ms. Dara Shah is asking a question on 165, which I explained at that time. I'll again explain now. And why would they do that? I will talk about it, but not now. I wish you had asked a little earlier. So before I started, I could have done this. But during the course of the session, once I complete DIN, I will take up your question and answer it. Okay? In the meantime, going on with the topic, where application is defective or incomplete, the central government shall give intimation of such defect or incompleteness by placing it on the website and by email to the applicant. Now the applicant should resubmit, right, the corrected form within 15 days, which is what we saw here, right? So it's a time-bound procedure. They also have to give you also. Once the resubmission is done, then they give you a permission for resubmission, but if again it persists, again I'll tell you this is invariably only PAN number, Aadhaar not tallying, something like that. Which is why I generally ask my people to see to it that the name in the PAN number, name in the Aadhaar, everything should be the same. See, problem with some people, they have peculiar names. So these names get shortened. In one proof, it will be in one way. VL Raju. Another place will be V Lakshman Raju. Okay. Another place will be Vacharla Lakshman Raju. All are correct. All are same. But the computer doesn't know. He doesn't know the difference between Vacharla Lakshman Raju and VL Raju or Lakshman Raju. Okay. These are for that computer of the MCA. These are 3 different people, 3 different IDs. They don't know that they're the same. So we will ask the gentleman to correct any one place. We'll ask him, what do you want your name to be? He'll say, sir, VL Lakshman Raju, sir. Then VL Raju, then VL Raju, you make it everywhere and bring it here. That's all. Like that. Okay. So this is the problem. And then we resubmit. So we are in Diwali season. I don't know how far we will be able to, this sound will be there throughout. So once you correct it and resubmit it, they can again go through. If there is still a problem, then they can reject the application and direct the applicant to file fresh application with complete and correct information, where the defect has been rectified partially or the information given is still found to be defective. For example, now they've got this new condition. We already saw that. If you want to become a director, you have to apply for a DIN. You also have to give a declaration. Do you remember DIR 2 May? You have to say you are not a person from a country which shares a land border with India. Suppose a guy who is having a land border with India is making an application and they have not submitted the MHA security clearance, then it will be rejected. They will ask you to resubmit with MHA approval. Suppose this guy is a known terrorist and he is not allowed, then it will be resubmitted again, it will be rejected. Some kind of a protection against certain companies which are formed for, later on in winding up, you will see. One of the grounds for winding up is where a company is engaged in, or the activities of the company are meant to disturb the sovereignty of the country and all that they've got there. So possibly, yeah, why not? See, we form a company, okay, we form a company, separate legal entity with some benamis and all that. And of course, foreigners, but no. And then they come and they form a company and then they import something. Now they import X, whatever product. When they're actually bringing it in, they are able to bring in some other items which are contraband, terrorism activities. Then they bring it in. That's how it happens. The bombs are coming like that only. So this company is now a front company now. So that's why they want to control it, to see that any country where we share land border, if that citizen is forming a company in India, we want to know why, because no Indian would be party to such activities. So they form a company with Chinese, Pakistanis, whatever, land border with India. And then they import and do all sorts of. So they want to know. That is why they want MHA to give the clearance. So the Ministry of Home Affairs will have a file. They will easily find out who he is, what he is, and they will know. If they give the clearance, then straight away you can. So in those cases also resubmission may happen. So treat and label such application as invalid in the electronic record if they are not removed, and inform the applicant either by way of letter or by post or in any other mode. Okay. In case of rejection or invalidation, the fee will not be refunded or adjusted. You have to pay again for fresh application. See, genuine people rarely will have a problem. If you give correctly all the KYC, ID proof, everything, that's all they want. And all the companies in which where he is proposed to be, they give the correct details, then everything will be through. Now, every existing director shall, within 1 month of the receipt of DIN, intimate his DIN to the company or all companies wherein he is a director in Form 3B. See, earlier there was a DIN. Some people did not apply. Now DIN is mandatory. Therefore, everybody would have applied and got a DIN. Once you get your DIN, within 30 days, you have to inform all the companies. Right? Now, once company receives the information, within 15 days of receipt of the intimation in Form 3B, the company should again, furnish the DIN of all its directors to the registrar or any other officer or authority as may be specified by the central government in Form 3C along with the prescriptive. So this is to close the loop. For the first time, every person who becomes a director, his DIN will be in the company. Now the company will intimate. Thereafter, this fellow's DIN is now on official record. Whenever he is appointed in any company, that company will intimate. Now, along with that, the DIN will get updated so that the record of the director also will be maintained. How many companies is director? How many public companies? How many private companies? Etc. etc. While every person or company, while furnishing any return information, shall mention the DIN. So, DIN becomes a kind of a PAN for MCA. Every action will go through a DIN. Anything that the company wants to do, it has to go through somebody's DIN. And that DIN, also along with that, there will be a digital signature certificate. You'll upload your document, DIN and DSC. Very, very important. Sometimes, we already said, a person cannot have two DINs. So once the DIN is found to be duplicated in respect to the same person, provided the data related to both the DIN shall be merged with a validly retained number. If the DIN was obtained in a wrongful manner or by fraudulent means, by giving fraud information, or if there is a death of the individual, or the concerned individual has been declared as a person of unsound mind, if the concerned individual has been adjudicated as an insolvent, then that DIN can be cancelled or deactivated. But before cancellation under B, wrongful manner or fraudulent means alone. See, when there are duplicate DIN, you merge the data and you have only one DIN, no problem. Death, what to do? Fellow is dead, gone, that's all. What can we do? Mad, unsound mind, what to do? Insolvency. But then, when you are saying it's wrongful or fraudulent, the ministry should give an opportunity to this guy to say, hey, what is wrongful and fraudulent in what I did? Then, if they are satisfied, they can allow him to have the DIN. Otherwise, it's an activity they can cancel or deactivate the DIN. Once the central government is satisfied on verification, okay, from any person, okay, they can, this cancellation, should not be done unless there should be a verification. For example, somebody should not say so and so is dead. There should be a documentary proof. Okay, then this DIN can be cancelled. Suppose some Mr. A is dead, then his relatives may want the DIN to be cancelled. Then they should give a death certificate, send it to the MCA. They will cancel the DIN or deactivate the DIN. See, number is again not to be reallotted. It will be a single number, that's all. Another number will have to be generated. Wrongful means DIN is obtained on strengths of documents which are not legally valid or incomplete document or suppressing material information, etc. etc. Fraudulent means DIN is obtained with intent to deceive. See, you and I will never understand because all our ID proofs are original proofs. There are so many bogus, so many, what shall I say, identity proofs that are false, actually, falsified and they are given. Okay. The central government may deactivate a DIN if it receives an application in form DIR 5 by the DIN holder to surrender his or her DIN. So he surrenders or he gives a declaration that he has never been appointed as director in any company and the said DIN has never been used for filing of any document. Only then the DIN will be deactivated. Okay. Before deactivation, the central government shall verify e-records. If you have used the DIN even once, you cannot be deactivated. It will be there. So, unless one of these things happen, then it can be deactivated. Whenever there is a change in any of the particulars that you are informed DIR, like change of address, etc., etc., you should intimate it within 30 days in DIR 6. The form will be downloaded. It should also be digitally signed by a CA in practice or CS or a cost accountant. Central government will verify all that and then again the change will be noted in the record. Okay. That is all. The concerned individual shall also intimate changes in his particular company to the company in which he is a director within 15 days of such change. Later on, when you come to qualification and disqualifications, you will find one important disqualification is there. Once we go there, you will realize why this DIN becomes very important to track. Okay, suppose you don't show the DIN, then penalty is there. Company and every officer in default. Minimum fine. Okay. 1 second, let me. Yeah. Bring it here. That's easy. Penalty for failure by company to furnish DIN to register. All the directors' DIN should be furnished. If you don't do that, minimum fine 25,000. In case of continuing offense, do you remember? Further fine of 100 for each day after the first. See, not furnishing DIN within how many days? Do you remember? Every company shall within 15 days furnish the DIN of all its directors. If they don't do that, within 15 days, on the 15th day, midnight, 25,000. Thereafter, from the first day, after the first day, from the next day onwards, 100 rupees for every day during which the offense continues, up to 1 lakh. So 100,000 days. Okay, 100 rupees into 1,000, 1 lakh. 1,000th day, seal. Beyond 1 lakh, you cannot charge. This is a penalty for non-compliance with any of this 152, 155, 156 means not applying for DIN, not intimating changes, giving false particulars, anything you will find. Fails to provide DIN at the time of appointment, obtains a second DIN, fails to intimate DIN within 1 month to company or companies where he is a director, then for the director concerned, there is a fine of maximum 50,000 and again 500 rupees for each day after the first. Because he also has to intimate within that time, 1 month for them. Okay. In case of a continuing offense, obtaining a second DIN is not a continuing offense. For that, only fine. But failing to intimate within 1 month is a continuing offense. So on the expiry of 1 month, 50,000. After that, 500 for each day. Wonderful. So this is DIN. Provisions for DIN. Now, I have a question from Dara Shah. Quickly, I'll take it because she's asking, she's going to maximum number of directorships, right? Sorry, I'll try to go there. This is actually very peculiar. Some people may have a doubt on this. She is asking that doubt. I will just go and answer. No problem. After all, this is meant for detailed course. This is not a rapid revision or something like that. Today, I had the misfortune of having to take rapid revision, some revised marathon for SARC. 3 hours I have to cover a topic which I would normally cover for you for the LVC within 60 hours, no? More 60 hours, the topic is being covered. That topic should be covered within 3 hours. How possible? Quickly. Chalo. So, the members of a company may, by special resolution, specify any lesser number of companies. See, Madam Dara Shah, you are Naranamurthy. Mr. Naranamurthy is the MD of Infosys. Shareholders of Infosys. Now you understand. Or shareholders of Tata Motors. So such a big company. Now that company is very clear. If a person wants to become a director in my company, his concentration should not be beyond 2 companies, 2 public companies. Only 2 public companies he can be a director. Maximum 10 companies, out of which 2 only can be public. Because we don't want your concentration to go. We want you to concentrate on us. We will compensate you. We'll give you good direct remuneration, etc., etc. But you have to restrict yourself to 10 and 2. The Act has prescribed 20 and 10. But this company wants exclusive attention of the director. It wants exclusive attention of the director. Therefore, it is permitted, subject to the above. The members of the company means the shareholders or the company. Basically, the Ratan Tata decides, hey, you want to become director of my company. Boss, you cannot be in more than 2 public companies. Maximum 10 companies out of the 2 public companies. No more. No. Companies Act 165. Boss, my company like this. I am allowed to do it. That's all. So for that, they will pass a special resolution. The purpose is concentration. So that the person's attention should not be diverted. Is the point. Hope you understood the topic, the point, Daraji. If you have, then kindly confirm that you have understood so that I will know that I have not wasted my time. Good. In section 165, what is lesson number? I will know that. Who is defaulting officer under 157.2? 157.2. Okay, we'll go there. Sorry, pushing all these slides. What to do? See, company and every officer in default, meaning every director, KMP, company secretary, MD, everybody is covered in officer in default. Okay? This is their collective duty. Not that, see, the director ka penalty is here for that guy. This is, see, the director, concerned director has given his details. He is not any liable anymore. The other people, MD, other director, KMP, company secretary, definite gali, he has to pay. Okay, they are the persons who will be officer in default. It includes all the KMPs, MD, everybody, and any other person who has been entrusted with the particular duty. That is why company secretary is definitely in trouble, MD is in trouble. Thank you, Daraji. Moving on. Now, here we come to another very interesting section. Right of persons other than retiring director to stand for directorship. Now, go back to our appointment of directors by shareholders, retirement by rotation. At every AGM, at every annual general meeting, 1/3 of those directors who are liable to retire by rotation will retire. You know that. 2/3 are those, not less than 2/3 are those who shall retire. Out of that 2/3, every year you have to find out. We did that elaborate problem. So we identified Balekar, Wagmare, like that. Whoever it is, those two guys are going to retire. Now, when they are retiring, somebody other than the retiring director can also propose himself. Means that you also note that retiring director means the director retiring by rotation. So, other than these two guys, anybody can propose themselves as a director. Okay. One important point you should understand, additional director or a nominee director whose office comes to an end at the next AGM is not a retiring director. He cannot claim deemed reappointment, etc., etc. Okay, just for your information. Now, the additional director can propose himself to be appointed in the place of the retiring director. Any person can. A person who is not a retiring director, other than these two fellows who are retiring now, or other than those guys who are liable to retire, anybody else who can appoint them. Theoretically, this means anybody can propose themselves as a director of any public company. Got it? Any public company, you can propose yourself. Why? Because section does not apply to private company. How? You will never find it in the section. You will never even find it in the rules. This is in a notification dated 5th June 2015. Make a note of it. This section 160, right of persons other than retiring director to stand for directorship, does not apply to a private company. Okay. Now, so which means what? You can nominate yourself as a candidate for directorship in Infosys Limited, Baba. Why not? Simple procedure. I will tell you. Okay. What is the procedure? Follow the finger. Here we go. So imagine you are proposing yourself as director in Infosys Limited. Why Infosys? Any company, whichever you think. Except that you should be alert. Ideally, you should be a shareholder and get the AGM notice. Even otherwise, it's a public thing. You just keep watching out, whichever company you want to be. So the notice will come now. The candidate himself or some member intending to propose him as a director shall not less than 14 days before the meeting leave at the registered office of the company a notice in writing under his hand signifying his candidature as a director or the intention of such member to propose him as a candidate for that office. So the candidate himself can propose or a member can propose. Friends, understand one thing, the candidate need not be a member. You need not be a member. If you are a member, good ma. Even if you are not a member, AGM is going to be conducted on such and such a day. 14 days before the meeting, you have to send your candidate. You have to send your proposal. Either you or the man proposing you. Along with that nomination, you should deposit 1 lakh rupees. Or such higher amount as may be prescribed. As of now, 1 lakh. 1 lakh rupees, you have to send nomination. In case you are elected, you will get your money back. The deposit shall be refunded to the member or to the person. If the person proposed gets elected as a director or gets more than 25% of the total valid votes cast, that's all they are asking. Even if you don't win, if more than 25% of the votes cast, either on show of hands or on poll you are getting, we'll give you your money back. Otherwise, swaha, your money will go. In those days, this was just $500. Now they made it costly for, and I'm not joking. In those days when it was 500 rupees, many cranks will propose their names. Infosys Limited, Reliance Limited, you'll find fellows will come. Mr. Donkey has proposed his name. Somebody has proposed. Is that Donkey will stand up and do all namaskar and all, but finally he will not win. But for 15 minutes, everybody will be talking about him. He will be seen as some sort of a big shot. 15 minutes of him. But at that time, it cost him only 500 bucks. But today, you have to keep 1 lakh on the table, which nobody wants. That's why they have dissuaded this type of crank behavior by making it 1 lakh. Okay, but genuine director, no problem, because he will deposit and take it back. I have see one more thing, with all this knowledge of company law, I will never become a director of any company because I'm a practicing chartered accountant. I'm a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So I may become independent director at a later date. But as of now, pure directorship, no way of any company. You can check out my DIN. I was a director of Hindustan Chamber, Chennai, because it's a Section 8 company, Section 25, old Section 25 company. I became a council member. There it's a Section 25, so council member is equal to director. So I had to deposit 1 lakh, and I was waiting with shivering breath that I should win. I said, Baba, no, sir, you are nominated, you will win, don't worry. It's just a formality like that. But my money went to them and it came back. That's different. But then I was elected, then I got bored. I said, no. So I will never become director of any company because, see, smallest mistake that company does, you will become disqualified and all that. And as a member of the institute, my bread and butter is ensuring on my practice, COP, Sarira practice. So I cannot jeopardize that. So I will not be happy. See, there are no good companies, no good management. All of them will be doing some nonsense. So better not to be a director is my philosophy, whatever benefits are. But that's my view. Of course, you are not, the institute has not prescribed any such norm. And there is no such ethical firing. Except that you should act in good faith, you should not be a independent director is okay because we have some degree of immunity and all that. Good. So 14 days before the meeting, the director sends the notice. 7 days before the meeting, that nomination should be circulated to all the members. The company shall, at least 7 days before the general meeting, inform its members of the candidature. Okay. So 21 days before notice, 14 days before candidate is nominated, 7 days before intimated to the members, they come to the general meeting, they really seriously want to know who this fellow is proposing himself, who is he like that. They'll come. Then at the meeting, obviously what will happen? Voting. Then if he's elected, he will become a member. If he's not elected, he's director, and 1 lakh will be given back. Otherwise, 1 lakh swaha, that's all. Miscellaneous income for the company. That's all. Pay tax on it. But you have to pay tax on it. But some cases they are saying this deposit of 1 lakh shall not apply. In the case of an independent director, because independent director, Baba, he is coming to help you and he is there to guide you and content. You can't ask him to give 1 lakh. No way. Similarly, appointment of a director recommended by the Nomination and Remuneration Committee. See, the Nomination and Remuneration Committee has vetted him. Later on, when we come to appointment, qualification and appointment and remuneration of managerial personnel, we will see this Nomination and Remuneration Committee. That committee should approve him. If they approve, then it's okay. They have interviewed him and they say, okay, chalo, no problem. Because they have approved him here. No need for 1 lakh. Also, in case of appointment of a director recommended by the board of directors of the company, where there is no nomination and remuneration. So, where the board proposes, I'll give a simple example. Mr. A is an additional director. A was appointed as an additional director. He vacates office at the AGM. Now the directors want to propose him. The company is not required to appoint Nomination and Remuneration Committee. Then the directors, if they recommend Mr. A, no need for 1 lakh. He can be put to vote. Got it? Now, candidate or member to leave nomination, not less than 14 days. Company to send not less than 7 days to the members, right? How to inform? Shall inform its members by serving individual notices on the members through electronic mode, wherever they have provided email address. By placing the notice of the candidate on the website of the company. So today only electronic mail. no posting and all that stuff. If you have provided the mail, you will get it in your inbox. In case you are not provided, you will get it in writing to all other members. Okay. Of course, today, one more thing, going for a totally different perspective. If your company is a listed company, all shares should be in dematerialized form. Nobody can hold a share in non-dematerialized form. The minute you go for dematerialization, if you are not gone for dematerialization, the share will be transferred. Because if you are not gone for demat, you won't be recorded with any depository. Then DPI, there's no DPID, no bank account will be there on record, no KYC, nothing. So they will send the dividend to you. If you don't take the dividend for 7 years, then your entire shares will be transferred to the Investor Education and Protection Fund along with the dividend. That's all. Then what you have to do is you have to get your shares first you have to get your shares dematerialized. First you have to go to the Investor Education Protection Fund, ask them to release it. Once they are satisfied, then they will instruct the company to release the share. Then dematerialize it. Then you will have to provide a DPID. It will be credited in the DPID. Only after that you can sell the share in the market. It's a big pain and it takes a lot of time, which is why better to dematerialize the share ASAP before it goes to the Investor Education and Protection Fund. Okay. So it should be given to the email addresses, in other cases in writing and in the notice. Now, it shall not be necessary for the company to serve individual notices if the company advertises the candidature or intention not less than 7 days before the meeting in a vernacular newspaper or in the principal vernacular language and also in an English newspaper circulating in that district. So, if you give an advertisement, no need to send a post. If everybody has given email, great, send it to email. If a few fellows have not given, you have to give it on post. If all have not given, give an advertisement, whichever is cheaper, you choose that and you. Fantastic. Some exemptions are there. This section does not apply to a private company. We already saw that. Section 8 company does not apply, whose articles provide for election of directors by balloting. Okay. In case of Nidhi company, 1 lakh will become 10,000 rupees. It will apply, but the deposit is not 1 lakh, it is 10,000 rupees. In case of government company, section 160 shall not apply to a government company in which the entire share capital is held by central government or any state government or governments, etc. in any combination. Subsidiary of a government company, okay, it won't apply. In case of specified IFSC company, International Financial Services Center Public Company, section 160 will not apply as per the articles framed by the company. Okay. These international financial services companies, IFSC companies, are meant for servicing foreign clients. So they will be set up in an IFSC, International Financial Services Center, from where they would be doing only international transactions. They would be serving only international customers. Technically speaking, they don't come into India at all. So many sections will not apply to IFSC public company. Usually they will be sitting inside an SEZ, Special Economic Zone. They'll be in a zone and they'll be approved by the government. Idea is foreign exchange. See, some big bank, foreign bank, Chase Manhattan Bank, may need back-end operations or financial service support. Then that can be done from this IFSC. So a company which is established in the IFSC, public company, section 160 shall not apply. It will apply only as per the articles framed by the company. Section 160 will apply subject to that. Now, the board of directors of a section 8 company at its discretion may refund the deposit in case the candidate loses or fails to secure the minimum. This is a liberty given to section 8 companies, which are more of, non-profit guys. So there they have given this option. This has come only now. Earlier, this was the old law 56 where I paid my deposit. I think at the time the deposit was 50,000 and not 1 lakh. When I paid, this option was not there. Whereas now they are saying, hey, if you are a Section 8 company, you take the deposit, but in case he loses also, you have the discretion to give back. Okay. Right or wrong? Now, option to adopt a proportional representation, right? Proportional representation. These are little tricky sections. But, and again, not very important. But not very important. 162 could be a little important. Appointment of more than one director on a single resolution. If you do that, it will become void. They could ask you a question there. Proportional representation, not so important. Nevertheless, I have to cover, so I'm covering. It's a little complicated. Let me do my best to make it relevant for you. See, normally, all directors are appointed on the basis of simple majority. You know that. Simple majority meaning what votes cast in favor exceeds the number of votes cast against. In other words, majority shareholders will always appoint all the directors. Suppose in a company, there is a minority group. Not a small minority, but a decent minority. For example, out of 5,000 shares, 3,500 are held by A group. 1,500 are held by a minority group. But even if the minority group jumps up and down right up to the sky, they cannot have a representation on the board. Because whenever these guys propose a candidate, what will happen? Put to vote. See, they can always use this retiring director proposal. So they can always propose a candidate. Pay 1 lakh also. When their candidate comes up, how many votes in favor? 1,500. How many votes against? 3,500. Defeated. Then the majority candidate will be proposed. And he will be obviously winning. How to protect the minority? Are you able to understand which pillar is now being protected? Investor, minority, shareholder is being protected here. Suppose the minorities need some kind of a representation on the board. Here is the opportunity. The company may amend its articles to provide for proportional representation. Then a united minority can elect at least one candidate. Okay. Now, here I'm sure Ms. Dara Shah will be eager with one question. What is that? Why will a company do this, sir? Are they fools or what? Why would a majority shareholder do this? Why will they amend the articles to provide for proportional representation? Normally, they will not. But later on, I may not be taking, but somebody else may be taking oppression and mismanagement. Oppression and mismanagement. If so, if there is a complaint that there is oppression and mismanagement, okay, now the tribunal will become aware of this. The application will go to the tribunal. Now the tribunal will hear the case and find, hey, after all, the minority is pretty strong. It's not that they are a minuscule minority. They need to be protected. So why not give them the option to propose and elect? For that, the tribunal will direct the company to amend its articles to provide for proportional representation. Mandatory. Now the company will jolly well have to amend and provide for proportional representation. Only under those circumstances, the company will provide for proportional representation. Otherwise, nobody will do it. Nobody will do it. Just like no company will voluntarily go and bring that independent director and put him in the board, no company will allow proportional representation for minorities and all that. No way. That is again another classic chameleon on the fence. Why we take it and put it in our dhoti? Never we will do it. But if there is oppression or mismanagement and there is a complaint to the tribunal, tribunal says, yes, there is a problem, but it can be easily resolved. Give the minority a chance to be on the board. How, sir? Majority. Amend your articles. Provide for proportional representation. That's all. Then they have to do it. Only under those circumstances you will find proportional representation comes. That is why this topic is not it is more a theoretical topic than a, shall we say, private, real meaty topic. Because in reality, in real life, this will happen once in a blue moon. In that too, when the company has got oppression problem or minority problem, group rivalry, only then this section will become relevant. But at that time, it will become very relevant. Yeah. Okay. So let us quickly see how it works. In fact, this topic, when you come to oppression and mismanagement, you should link it there. Tribunal ka power hai na, there are a lot of powers to the tribunal. This is a very important power to direct the company to amend its articles to provide for appointment of not less than 2/3 of the directors by the method of proportional representation. Then this whole thing will start. There should be a provision in the articles that out of the total number of directors, appointment of not less than 2/3 shall be made by proportional representation. Now, proportional representation can be done by two methods: single transferable vote or cumulative voting. They have also included one more, or otherwise. See, even to explain single transferable vote, it's not worth. Or cumulative voting. See, these are only methods of voting. Don't get worried. In the exam, you will never be asked about it. But for your information, our institute uses single transferable vote. For our council elections, we use. Which means, see, I am a member. Basically, I have one vote. I have one vote. Now, but there are 9 or 10 or 15 candidates out there. Out of those 15 candidates, I have to select 6. Okay. So what they'll do is they'll give me 6 preferences. 6 preferences. So which means my single vote will become 6. And I'll vote for Mr. A and give him first preference. Then B give him second preference. C give him third preference. Like that. Till I can exhaust my entire 6 votes. But there are only as many votes as there are vacancies. I can't simply keep giving like that. That will actually invalidate the ballot. Single transfer, it's very complicated. Thereafter, the voting will be anybody who gets the minimum number of first preference votes automatically elected. Thereafter, there will be a hit and miss game where they will start transferring and all that. Cumulative voting is simple. Number of votes cast, that's all. Each man will have only one vote. Vote, come. I will explain to you one using cumulative voting one example. Okay, because single transfer vote, if you take, all of us will go mad. We'll be picking our hair and running. Don't try that. In fact, there is the Institute of Company Secretaries, there's an article on single transferable vote. It's a nice article. If you read it, you'll go mad. From our exam purpose, it is not important. Don't waste your time. There is single transferable vote, there is cumulative voting. Okay. The whole purpose is united minority can elect at least one candidate. Please underline, in a country like India, this is the problem. Rarely do you find a united minority. Even the minority will be fighting within itself. Okay? Whereas the majority will remain strong. Then nothing happened. United minority means what? All of them should vote for one candidate. There should not be any split between them. They should field only one candidate. All of them should vote for him. They have a chance of pushing one guy in by using proportional representation. For that, what you do, the methodology is, you have something called minimum number of votes. See, normally, majority wins. Normally. But once you amend your articles and provide for proportional representation, then anybody who gets the minimum number of votes is elected. This is the important thing. You have to wrap your mind around it. Anybody who gets minimum number of votes, elected. How to calculate minimum number of votes? Total number of votes. Total number of votes divided by total number of vacancies plus 1 plus 1. Total number of votes divided by total number of vacancies, not total number of candidates. Total number of vacancies plus 1 plus 1. See, small shareholder director is meant only to represent small shareholders. Please understand. Only to represent small shareholders. It is quite possible that a company may have, of course, if it's a listed company, there are, or even an unlisted public company, there are small shareholders, sufficient small shareholders, 1,000 small shareholders have to come together, madam, or 1/10 of the total number of shareholders have to come together, small shareholders have to come together. Got it? And they have to make an obligation. And so if the company has, say, let us say 12 people, all of them are holding more than 20,000. There is no small shareholder. In that, there is a minority. How to appoint? There, this section can be used. Right? So that is the reason. When a minority shareholder can elect. No, minority shareholder cannot elect small shareholder. Again, let us reword your question correctly. When a minority shareholder can elect a director to represent small shareholders, your statement itself needs to be reworded. Minority director cannot elect, minority shareholder cannot elect small shareholder director. Only small shareholders, that too collectively. So you go there and read, you will understand. That's a different, it's there. See, both are there, but they are not mutually exclusive. That applies in some situations, this applies in some situations. There could be an overlap. Okay. Again, I will tell you one more thing. This section will be done only when there is operation mismanagement. Rarely you will find a normally functioning company amending its articles, where there is no complaint and all. But small shareholder director is not like that. Even an active, live company can, when the proposal comes from small shareholders, they will have to do it. This is very rarely used. Rarely used, but the provision is there. See, you will understand it only when you go to operation and mismanagement. See, suppose the minority shareholders each are holding 1 lakh face value shares. What will you do then? They are not small shareholders. So if based on your suggestion, if the Minister of Corporate Affairs removes this section, how will we give relief to them? What do you say, Daraji? I will recommend your matter to Nirmala Sitharaman. I will tell her, Ms. Dara Shah feels small shareholder director is already there, protection is given, remove this section. She will also immediately remove it. She is capable. Then what will happen? There will be a minority group which is not small shareholder. What they will do? So that is why we are having this. Got it? This is a very old, this is not MCA ka invention. This is very old. This is coming right down from British period. This is a very important protection for the minority who are not small shareholders. To answer your question in simple terms. Okay? A good question. I'm not questioning your question, but trying to give you a reasoning. Okay, this formula is still confusing, na? Minimum number of votes equal to total number of votes divided by total number of exemptions. So let's see. ABC Limited is having a share capital of 5 lakhs, divided into 5,000 shares of rupees 100 each, fully paid up. It has two rival groups consisting of A, B, C, and D, holding 3,500 shares. Group headed by E holds 1,500 shares. Right? Now, so E group holding 1,500. A group holding 3,500. A, B, C, D, 4 people. E. Now there are 4 vacancies in the board. 4 people have to retire at the next AGM. It has to be filled up. The members' names are A, B, C, D, E, F. I'm sorry, E. Okay. Now, they have fielded the following candidates. Again, remember, this is 2 different groups. Okay. A, B, C, D, 1 group. E, 1 group. E is having a lot of friends. They are all together holding 1,500. A, B, C, D together holding 3,500. Maybe other people are also there. Candidates are A, B, C, and D. The idea of A, B, C, D is they want to occupy the 4 vacancies. But now this company has adopted proportional representation. So the whole thing will change. See, normally what will happen? A will be proposed 3,500, 4,500 against. B, C, D, over. E, they will call, sorry, Baba. Come on, okay, no, put me to vote. Put to vote. Maybe they'll even say, Mr. E, come. We will put your nomination to vote first. Go. We will vote against. 1,500 for. Even if the entire minority is united minority, still they cannot put E in the board. But if you go for proportional representation, the whole scenario will change. You have to calculate minimum number of votes, which is total number of votes. What is the total number of votes? You should know the definition of total voting power, which is nothing but the total number of votes which will be cast on a poll. The total number of votes which will be cast on a poll, whether for or against, the total number which will be cast. In this company, if all the votes are cast, how many votes will be there on a poll? 1 share, 1 vote on a poll. 1 share, 1 vote on a poll. 5,000 shares, 5,000 votes. So total number of votes, 5,000. How many vacancies? 4. Formula, 4 plus 1. 5,000 by 4 plus 1 plus 1. So 5,000 by 5,000 plus 1, 1,001. So thus any person who secures 1,001 votes on a poll, 1,000 votes on a poll will become a director. So which means he has a good chance of becoming a director. He has a good chance of becoming a director. Provided the entire minority cast a vote. A group cannot prevent E's election. So it will be like A, B, C, or D, 3, 4. One of the 3 of the 4 will come along with E. Now E can do. Okay, this is the idea. So remember section 163. This section starts with the phrase, notwithstanding anything contained in this act. So this section overrides all other provisions of the Companies Act. Okay, it's a very powerful section. So if there is any conflict between this section and any other section, this section will prevail. Okay, so that is something you might want to remember. Section 163 again will not apply to a government company in which the entire share capital is held, etc., etc. Same logic. Very, very important. Directors appointed by the method of proportional representation cannot be removed by the members under 169. Very shortly, I will come to 169. We will see. Under 169, you cannot remove a director appointed by proportional representation. Got it? So, somewhere they might ask you an MCQ question like this. Which of the following directors can be removed by the members? Like that. Later on, when I come to removal of director, I will tell you. But one guy who cannot be removed is man who is appointed by proportional representation cannot be removed by the members. Okay? Now, we have finished appointment of directors thoroughly. But qualifications and disqualifications we have to go. Now, basically, are there any qualifications for becoming a director of a company? Qualifications, nothing. You can say DIN is one qualification. Possession of a valid DIN is one qualification. That's all. Independent director ka qualification, that is different. For becoming an independent director, you have to pass the exam and all that. But normal director, no qualification. In fact, if you prescribe any qualification, many big entrepreneurs and industrialists could never have floated companies. Got it? Suppose you prescribe MBA, member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, IIT, engineer from a reputed university, recognized by UGC. Whatever qualification you put, Ambani could not have become a director. He could not have set up Reliance. I'm not just talking about Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani. Okay? I'm a great fan of Dhirubhai. So Dhirubhai is one example. So many people, they didn't study in the university like you and me. They studied in a bigger university. It's the world. It's the life. They studied in that university. They might have dropped out of school, but they studied in a bigger university and they have qualified themselves. Such people, you cannot ask them to have any qualification. Later on, when you become a chartered accountant, you will be employed by a large multinational company, large company run by a family. There you will find the founder is not even a graduate. But once you work with him, you will realize what a genius he is. And if you work with him for 10 years, you will know, then only you will know what is business, what is life, and what is growth. He will show you. This is a greatness. So that is why the Companies Act, and thankfully the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, with all their nonsense, they have not tried to interfere there. No qualifications have been prescribed. But disqualifications have been prescribed. Okay? Disqualification. Because we don't care so long as the man is honest. Okay? So long as the man is honest. Education is not important. Education is the least of the point. See, you and I, when we are so highly qualified, you will become chartered accountant, etc., etc., you will become a big shot. We think we are all big shots. We think because we are CA, we are big. We go around with our head. Not like that. We are nothing when compared to some of these people who are genius. I've had the good fortune. I've had the good fortune for the last 35 years to work with at least 6 people like that. 6 great entrepreneurs who started from scratch and built crores worth businesses. Luckily, I could work with them from start to date. I've been with them. I know who they are. They know me. Sometimes they say, Sir Srikanth, you're so highly qualified. I say, no, sir. I'm saluting you. Okay? Because, Pranam, because you know what is what. No, sir. There are so many laws. Correct. These laws are made by fools, learnt by other fools, and administered by some more fools. But the real business is different. You know it. And you will just laugh and you will go. Point is different. Okay? So this is more of my view on entrepreneurs. And I respect them. Doesn't mean that he will not allow his son to go abroad, do a Harvard MBA, Not that he, but he has not studied, that's all. It's not that he does not respect education. Nor am I not, I'm not saying education is not important. But don't think your education is the end. There is so much practical common sense that you have to imbibe. And the world has so many, lessons to teach you. Wait for these lessons to come, you learn them. Okay? Good. Sometimes due to connectivity, there could be problems. It could be both my side and your side, or even Institute ka side. There is a person who is closely monitoring the output, constantly monitoring the output. If there is any connectivity issue, he will call me and he will tell me, or he will tell me now by connecting in. So if I don't receive any comment from him, I will presume that my connectivity is good and proceed. So kindly, bear with me. I cannot do anything about what you are telling, except maybe once I will check if my connection is good. My connection is fairly good. I don't see any problem. Okay. So kindly check your part of the connection, or if not, don't even waste your time commenting that my connection is good and all that. I'm sure it is. Pray to God that the blurring should go. I will also pray to God. Okay. But in these cases, you please call the help desk or whatever it is you have now. You call them and tell them that I'm having there's some connectivity problem. The faculty is not clear or something like that. Please inform them. They will inform me and do this. Anyway, I'm very sorry for if at all there is any blurring. I'm very sorry about that. Even if you can hear me, chalo, no problem. Just continue to hear me. Okay. These are the disqualifications. How many disqualifications are there? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay. So many disqualifications. We will see them one by one. Very important from the exam point of view. Frequently tested, regularly questioned. Some part of it is always tested. First, a person shall not be eligible for appointment as a director of a company if he is of unsound mind and stands so declared by a competent court. Okay, competent jurisdiction means what is the competent jurisdiction? In every city, everywhere where there's a court, there will be a court called lunacy court. Actually, it won't be a separate court. The same guy, the judge, the magistrate or judge, in one session, he will take up lunacy matters. So what is this lunacy matter? See, Mr. A is now 85. He is still controlling the company. He is not willing to let go. But he has become senile. He is suffering from senile dementia, partly. He is able to remember now, later on, but he still wants to control everything. He doesn't want to give it to his sons. 89-year-old Fai, imagine what the son's age is. Still the sons are dependent on the father. What a problem. And the sons are now possibly what? 89 months, they're 60. Their children are now 40. That entire parivar is waiting for the old man to go. That old man is not able to go. He is still there waiting, 89. Baba, what to do? So the advocate gives a fantastic plan. He says, sir, there's only one way. Let us apply to the lunacy court to declare this man as senile dementia. What to do? They go to court, medical evidence will be produced, and finally the court will declare him as unsound mind. Okay? It could happen. A lot of people. One past finance minister who also became prime minister was declared to be of unsound mind by the Allahabad High Court. I'll not name the person. You check out from the Google or whatever. Who was named unsound mind for a short time. But again, remember, the same person can make another application to the court, prove that he is not of unsound mind, and that finding will be annulled. Till such time, he cannot be a director. Okay? The minute he is found to be of unsound mind, and he is so declared by a competent court. That's why they say competent court. The court should be one where the question is whether he is of sound mind or not. Only that is the competent court. See, there may be some criminal proceeding. During the criminal proceeding, the judge hearing the criminal proceeding may make an obiter comment, side comment. Incidentally, I think this fellow is a mad fellow, like that. That doesn't make him unsound mind. So because that is not the subject. There the question is whether he is guilty or not guilty. So the judge says he's guilty. And I also think only mad fellow will do like this. Yeah, mad. Like that he's saying. That is not finding. The finding should be by a court of competent jurisdiction. The declaration should be by a court of competent jurisdiction. B, he is an undischarged insolvent. See, remember, the creditors of a company or an individual or a whatever, if an individual has borrowed heavily, he's doing business, doing well. Suddenly, one fine morning, he is not doing, he took a risk, money is not coming back, something happens, he is no potential insolvent. So the creditors, what they will do, before he can alienate his assets, they will prefer a petition to the court for insolvency petition. The minute, insolvency petition has been filed, the court will hear it. He will, of course, this fellow will come and say, I'm not insolvent, proof will be given, blah, blah, it will go on. But once the court finds that he is insolvent, they will adjudicate him as an insolvent. Once he is adjudicated, he will thereafter not be eligible to be appointed as a insolvent. So the disqualification begins when the director is adjudicated as an insolvent on an insolvency petition preferred by either himself or by his creditors, and continues so long as the court has not discharged him. Finally, what happens? The receiver or assignee will come. He will sell all the assets, pay the creditors, partly, whatever. Finally, he will come back to the court and say, debts have been fully discharged. Then, which may take a long time, Baba, may take 7-8 years. After that, the court will order that he has been discharged. During that period, when he is declared or adjudicated as an insolvent and he becomes discharged, that period he is disqualified from becoming a director. Now, here's another thing. Don't see, this is a creditor petition. The man says he doesn't say he is insolvent. He says he is solvent. Finally, the court says he is insolvent. Adjudication. From that date till discharge. Now, this is a different story. This is a debtor's petition. The man himself prefers the petition. The debtor himself prefers the petition. He says, I am insolvent. The minute the application is made, he has applied to be adjudicated. From that moment, he is disqualified. Because he has preferred the petition himself. He is accepting, I am insolvent. From the date of application. On adjudication, what will happen? He will become undischarged insolvent. Thereafter, till discharge. Okay? So, the idea of this B and C is to prevent a financially unsound person from becoming director. See, here is a fellow who is not able to handle his own finances correctly. How is he competent to be a director of a company and handle the company's finance? That's what it is. Similarly, a criminal cannot become a director. So, where he has been convicted by a court of any offense, whether involving moral turpitude or otherwise, and sentenced in respect thereof to imprisonment for not less than 6 months. See, moral turpitude means there should be an element of fraud or intention to cheat or some kind of a desire to make some financial gain. So, immoral behavior, moral turpitude. So, in those days, only moral turpitude offenses involving moral turpitude were covered. Now, in the new law, they are saying any offense. See, they could have simply said convicted by a court of any offense. Because of the old moral turpitude issue, they are against whether moral turpitude or otherwise. There is no need to tell that. The minute you say any offense, it includes offense involving moral turpitude, other offenses also. For example, suppose the man has been convicted of an offense under the Environmental Protection Act. No, it's not moral turpitude. Strict liability. Some poison gas escapes. Under the EP Act, he is charged. And criminally is found to be negligence or whatever. But no moral turpitude. Okay? He is sentenced to imprisonment for 1 year. Okay? That is also covered. There is no moral turpitude, still covered. So, and sentenced in respect thereof to imprisonment for not less than 6 months. 6 months, very important. And a period of 5 years has not elapsed from the date of expiry of the sentence. So, he is sentenced for say 1 year, 2 years. The sentence is for 2 years. So, from the date of conviction, you have to wait for the sentence to expire. He cannot be appointed. Then you have to wait for another 5 years. He cannot be a director for a period of 5 years from the date of expiry of the sentence. where imprisonment is for a period of 7 years or more, he shall not be eligible to be appointed as a director in any company ever. That's all. Matter over. 7 years, fellow has gone to jail. No way. Okay. He cannot be appointed as a director. But if it is less than, if it is up to 7 years, more than 6 months, then he will be disqualified. Less than 6 months, enjoy. Go to jail for 4 months, nobody can do anything to you. You are a criminal. I'm sorry. The person is a criminal, but still he is eligible to. This is what I have never understood. Man who goes for 5 months is a good man. Man who goes for 6 months or more, okay, is a criminal. I don't know where they got that 6 months from. Anyway, 6 months he can. They're saying less than 6 months offense may not be serious offense, whereas 6 months and above serious offense. Anyway, in fact, in the institute exam, they will ask you a question like this only. They will catch you out. They will say, hey, Mr. Malafide is to be appointed as a director. He was convicted for an offense under FEMA for 3 months. Can he be appointed as a director? He can. Why? Because he has been convicted and sentenced to imprisonment for 3 months, which is less than 6 months. Therefore, he can be appointed. But in my book, when I wrote my book, I used to give the answers to the exam questions, wherein though the institute has written that he can be appointed based on the section and based on the textbook, such answer goes like that. In my book, I wrote, he can be appointed as a director because the period is less than 6 months. Yes. Answer. Over. But is it a good thing for the company to appoint a jailbird as a director? There is a bigger question we have to ask. Like that I have written in my book. But that is again me. Okay. Because after all, the question is on the law, not on the morals or on the ethical values of the company. Right. So that 6 months becomes very, very important. An order disqualifying him for appointment as a director has been passed by a court or tribunal and the order is in force. This again is connected to oppression and mismanagement. After going through the whole mismanagement oppression petition, finally the tribunal may come to the conclusion that, or the court may come to the conclusion for some other matter, finally they may say, hey, this fellow is such a rogue, he cannot be appointed as a director. So such an order, if it is there, such a person is disqualified from being appointed. If he has not paid any cause in respect of shares of the company held by him, whether alone or jointly with others, and 6 months have elapsed from the last day fixed for the payment of the call. Please understand, up to now, it applies to all companies. The minute he is sentenced, he cannot be a director in any company after that. But this F alone applies only to that company. Why? Because the word used here is the company. He has not paid any calls in respect of any shares of the company. So, you want to appoint him as director of Dubakur Limited. He is holding shares in that company. Call has been made. He has not paid the calls. 6 months have elapsed from the last day fixed for that. You cannot appoint him. He is disqualified from being appointed in that company, Dubakur Limited. Other companies he can be. Okay. I don't know if the name of that company, I don't know if you understood, but that's okay. Because I'll tell you, only Dubakur Limited will appoint people like this. Useless fellows will be appointed only by useless companies. See, that's why, when you see the board of directors of companies, you will be very worried. When you see the board of directors, you see rogues and immoral fellows, however successful that company is, however market price of the share is going up, ultimately the company will go to the dogs. Which is why management is very important. For evaluating a company, we see the management. Yeah, Mr. Ja, now it is perfect. Sir, always life is perfect. It is only the way we look at it makes it imperfect. sorry for what shall I say, unsolicited philosophy. But most of the time we see the world and through our eyes, it is imperfect. God created a perfect world. Everything is perfect in this perfect world. Believe me when I say that. Nothing is happening without the design. He is there. Everything is being planned by him. He is executing it. With our limited, ego, we think we are filtering it. Remove the filter. You will see the perfect world. Sorry, Ja. Idea is not to think, but to share my viewpoint about the world. He has, GHI, my God. He has been convicted of the offense dealing with related party transactions under section 188. Later on, when we come to powers and meetings and powers of the board, we will talk about related parties. There, he has certain duties to disclose his interest and all that, and not to enter into any transactions. If he has violated that duty under 188 during the last preceding 5 years, he cannot be. So, he should be convicted. Recently, about 2 days ago, I had an opportunity to have a meeting. One person got caught in all that. I told this fellow has committed 2 offenses. I said, one was the original offense. Second was getting caught. So this fellow has been convicted. Then for 5 years from the date of conviction, he cannot be appointed. He has not complied with subsection 3 of section 152. He has not been allotted DIN. So not having a DIN is a disqualification. So a person who does not have a DIN, he is disqualified from being appointed as a director. Also, he has not complied with the provisions of subsection 1 of section 165. Do you remember? He has taken directorship in more than 20 companies or more than 10 public companies. So a person who has exceeded the ceiling of 165 is automatically disqualified. So you cannot appoint him. If you appoint a person who is disqualified, the company is committing an offense under section 164. If he accepts the appointment, he is committing an offense under 165. If he continues to act, he is committing an offense under 165. Okay. Now, you will now understand why, though 165 comes after 164, I covered 165 earlier. Understand? If you go by section number, I would not have covered 165. If I tell 165, you will not know. I have to go. That is why I have rearranged the sequence of sections with some sort of a logic. Okay. Now 165 is not a stranger to you, right? Now, of course, I'm not insensitive to the fact. Thank you, Mr. Vikas. I'm not insensitive to the fact that many of you may be there who have completely mastered the Institute material and you're coming only for insights. So that is why I'm trying to take you practically in little more detail, etc., etc. So please do feel free to ask any number of questions. Okay, I'm really surprised that there are not many questions coming. Kindly make the questions come. So I enjoy this interaction on the query pad because that gives me a hope that somebody is listening to what I'm saying. Okay, good. Where is Vancharla? Yeah? Vancharla is one person who will always put up some kind of questions and all that. Okay, I see totally new names. Dara, of course, is here. Vikas Jha, welcome, sir. And Jana is here. Welcome. And Veera Murali is here. Welcome. Rashmi is here. Welcome. Avija. Welcome. Others are also there. All of you welcome. Not only the people who are here, all are welcome. And put up questions or anything. Now, DEG. Disqualifications referred to in clause DEG shall continue to apply even if the appeal or petition has been filed against the order of conviction or disqualification. Okay. D, E, and G are all appealable. See, D, conviction, he might have gone on appeal. E, disqualification, order by the court, he can go on appeal. G, conviction under 188, he can go on appeal to the NCLT. So, in these 3 cases, he might have made an appeal. Even if he has made an appeal, the disqualification will continue. Got it? Because later on when we come to vacation, you will find if he has appealed, the vacation will be kept pending. Here that is not there. The minute he is convicted or adjudicated or the sentence is passed, immediately disqualified. He can go on appeal, go. But till then, he cannot be appointed in any new company. But existing companies, he may not vacate till that appeal is decided. We'll see that. This is a very important. 164.2. If you can remember the section number, that will be great. Earlier, it used to be called 274(1)G. There are only 6 plus 1. This was 274(1)G. Because it was part of subsection 1, it had a lot of problems. So now they've beautifully taken it and put it as subsection 2. This is what we saw was 164(1) up to I. 164(1) to I9 plus 164(2). This is a different disqualification. This diagram would help you to understand this disqualification. A person is a director or has been a director of, okay, he is today a director or has been a director of a company which has not filed financial statements or annual returns for any continuous period of 3 financial years. So here's the company which has not filed a financial statements or annual returns for any continuous period of 3 financial years. This continuous period is the problem. See, for example, they have not filed for 19, 20, 21. No 22 is there now. Suppose they file for 19, right? That's all. No problem. Because 3 consecutive years, they have not failed now. Because for 22, you have time. 22, you have more time to file. So, 19 was not filed. Suppose 21 is there, there will be 3. Suppose they file 19, then 20, 21, 22 will be pending. Then when 22 becomes due, they will file 20. Like that, if they do, they can keep on pushing it for 2 years, 2 years, 2 years. That's a small loophole here. The word continuous period of 3 financial years. Anyway, that's could be the intention. At least the fellow will file 19 in 22. Then he'll file 20 in 23. Like that he will go. Okay. Idea is to ensure that, see, a director who is a director of such company is irresponsible fellow now. He has allowed this company to be quiet, not file financial statements and annual returns. Such a fellow, they feel, is not fit to be a director anywhere else. Which is why, whenever any of my clients, especially who are MDs of large companies, wherein they are the owner promoters, and that is a flagship company, some friend or the other will come to him in the club, they will say, why don't you become director in my company, man? I need your advice. This will also be so ego, my advice and all. So he'll go and become a director there. Then they will call our office and say, our MD is becoming director in that company, Dubakor Limited. Kindly send the DSC. At that time, I'll call him, boss, be careful before you become director. No. I understand your point, Mr. Srikanth. I'm very happy. Thank you for that advice. He is my college friend I know him right from college days. That is the problem. But then 3 years down the lane, it happened in one case. That company will not file the annual return. The minute the 3rd year annual return due date passes now, this man's din will be locked. This man's din will be locked. Yeah, because he's disqualified. His din will be locked. Big problem. Unlocking it is so difficult. That company has to comply. Then we have to inform them. It becomes a real pain. That is why what I did after that, some of my senior clients who trust me, I told them, sir, if you are going to become director of that company, of course, not fair for me to say, make me the auditor. And I may also not want to be auditor of that type of dirty companies, but every year we'll do a DD of these companies. Allow me to do a DD, due diligence, and report to you. That is a good idea. So you do that. So every year we will take all these companies, call them up, call the company secretaries. Have you filed? Have you filed? Have you filed? Tick, all companies filed. Then we will send a report to him. That is the best way to protect my client, because it's my job to protect my client. This is something that many of my clients enjoy because I am protecting them. They don't have to bother. Their own company secretary won't do it because he is a paid employee. Why should he do? He won't do. For the company, he will say, I am the company secretary of the company, not your secretary. Like that is a problem. Okay. Another point, a company which has failed to repay deposits accepted by it, or pay interest on that, or redeem any debentures on the due date, or pay interest due thereon, or pay any dividend declared, and such failure to pay or redeem continues for 1 year or more. 1 year or more. So, what are the items? Repayment of deposit with interest, redemption of debenture on the due date with interest, paying any dividend declared. See, dividend, members cannot force the company to declare dividend. But once declared, it has to be paid within 30 days. From the expiry of 30 days, you wait for 1 year. On the expiry of 1 year also, if there is not, there is failed. There is a failure. In these two cases, the person who is or has been a director of this type of a company shall not be eligible to be reappointed as a director of that company or appointed in any other company for a period of 5 years from the date of failure. So, he will not be eligible to be reappointed here of that company or appointed in any other company for a period of 5 years from the date of failure, which is what happens now. Once this disqualification triggers, this gentleman cannot be reappointed anywhere else. Big pain, which is one of the reasons why I will never become director in Dubakur companies, useless companies, or whatever may be the temptation for me to do it, I will not do that. Now, disqualification under 164(2) shall not apply to a government company. Now, see, in those days, students used to ask me a question. Sir, what happens to a person who is appointed as a director of a company which has already committed the defaults under 164(2)? On the date he becomes a director, they have already committed. What to do? Where a person is appointed, see, this was not earlier answered. This was not answered earlier. Earlier, if you had asked me the question under the old law 274(1)G, I would have simply said, this is a classic example. He will become disqualified on day one. See, imagine, I'm sorry, there was one case in those days, one boy, he fell in, they arranged a marriage for him. The girl come from USA. This fellow is India. He wants to go abroad and he thinks this is my ticket to go abroad. I will enjoy my life. This girl, she is highly educated. He is also M.Tech. She will marry him. Both of them will go to San Francisco, Chicago and enjoy. I will become US citizen. Like that, he is dreaming. So that girl comes in, the parents of the boy and the girl, hey, please go on. And then the girl says, you know, in my country, it's normal for people to go out before marriage and all that. So, chalo, go. And the parents of the boy send him, please go, my dear boy. And then they go out for 3 months, enjoy. The marriage is sort of fixed sometime later. Then they go, something happens, I will not tell. Then this fellow comes back. Then another 2 months later, the girl comes to him and says, I'm going to US back. How? What happened? Our marriage? No, I'm not very interested in marriage. Bye. What is this? What is this? Then she also tells him one more thing. She says, I'm having AIDS. I was having AIDS at the time when we met. The disqualification is already there when the fellow is appointed. What? This is a joke I used to tell. What to do? Suffer, that's all. Okay. Why you go and get yourself linked with a company which is already having disqualification, already committed default? Which is why before becoming a director, I insist that my clients, they should do a DD. Unless a DD is done, I will not let them become director there. Without my permission, if they have regretted, now they will not allow this to happen. They'll simply send all the papers to my office. That company MD or director or company secretary will call us. Sir, kindly come and do the DD. Then give a report to this man. Then he will become director. Because, see, I have to protect my man. Correct? Okay. In those days, this was the position. Today, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has magnanimously given one benefit. They are saying, where a person is appointed as a director of a company which is in default of Class A or Class B of Section 164(2), he shall not incur the disqualification for a period of 6 months from the date of his appointment. This should give him enough time to resign from such a tainted directorship. I think that's a good thing here. I appreciate. At least there is an answer now for this question. Okay, this, my dear friends, 164(2) is very important from the point of view of exam. Regularly, frequently tested. 164 itself is very important. Under that, 164 A, B, C, D, very important. D, not that others are not important. Up to D, very important. 164(2) important. Try to see what I say now. Today, revise it. Make it hardcore it. Make it part of read-only memory, your unerasable memory. Okay? So, because it's going to come there anyway in the exam. If you have any doubts, to ask me. Hey, if you ask me, this is one area where people have a lot of doubts. Either I have explained it that you have no doubts, or I don't know. Finally, Dharasha is asking questions. Why disqualification not allowed to government company? See, Dara, come on. Please, these questions don't direct to me. If you have a specific doubt on section, I will answer. These sort of general questions, what answer can I give you? I'm a Minister of Commerce. I'm a Minister of Finance Chief. I can't tell you. Go and ask Minister of Corporate Affairs. Nirmala Sitharaman, you ask her why. They feel, see, I'll give you one answer, which is government company becoming a director is not easy. Who will become director? You know, IAS officers, state administrative services, central administrative services officers. Only they will become. My dear friend, they are already coming under more tougher scrutiny than this for your information. So therefore, you don't need, is what they are saying. And if you want to become in a government company, that ministry will do all this. See, every government company will come under some ministry or the other. Yeah. For example, Indian Oil Corporation Limited will come under the Department of Energy, Ministry of Commerce. They will come under that. So that fellow, every orifice in his body will be searched. The CBI will do inquiry about him. Then only he can become director there. Okay. So that is why they are saying this section will not apply. Are you able to understand? Okay. Good question. Very general question. I have given my best answer. I hope you are happy. Rather ask any practical question within this framework. But I think this section is now pretty clear. Earlier it was a mess. Okay. And again, this disqualification is only for a period of 5 years for the rate of failure. After that, he can be appointed. Chalo, let us move on. If no doubts are there, I will as well run faster and finish it. Okay. Wherever a company fails to file the financial statements or annual returns or fails to repay deposits, etc., the company shall immediately file Form DIR 9 to the registrar. Now understand the DIN link. In that form, they have to give the direct names and addresses of all the directors, including DIN. Okay, that's it for him up, because after that, his DIN will be known. Automatically, his DIN will be locked. Now, do you understand how the DIN is locked? Once the DIR 9 is filed. If the company fails to file Form DIR 9 within 30 days of failure, that would attract the disqualification of 164(2). The officers specified in 260 of the Act shall be the officers in default. Okay, but again, unless the DIR 9 is filed, they will never know about it, is another thing. Of course, once in a while, what they do, they take out the list of companies which have not filed for consecutive 3 years, at least annual returns and financial statements. That group, they straight away remove all the directors and lock their DIN. Once every year they find out which has exceeded 3 consecutive years. Those directors' DIN will get locked straight away. I can do that now because this fellow, if this fellow is any other company, his DIN is locked and that company will be intimated. Okay. Similarly, any application for removal of disqualification of directors shall be made in Form DIR 10. You can always apply for removal of any of these disqualifications. In fitting cases, they might go through it and say, okay, let me remove the disqualification. That's again a good facility. Earlier, the disqualification could not be removed by central government. Now, any of these disqualifications can be removed in fitting cases, worthy cases, because genuinely this fellow, became a director in good faith, not knowing like this, not having an auditor like me advising him. Foolishly he went, but good man, honest man. He will say, sorry, please help me. They will remove the disqualification. Okay. Now we come to vacation of office. Vacation means to go out of the office. Go out. Lose the office. Now, when will the officers vacate? When will the directors vacate? If he incurs any of the disqualifications specified in section 164, automatically he will vacate office. Any of these nine disqualifications, but not 164(2). Be careful. Where he incurs the disqualification under 164(2), the office of the director shall become vacant in all the companies other than the company in which the default is there. See, suppose there is a disqualification under 164(2), he cannot be reappointed in that company, but he won't vacate office in that company. He will continue to be a director. Why? To ensure that he will be caught under this Form DIR 9 non-failure case. See, because he should be one of those directors who has not filed this Form DIR 9. So that again they will punish him. Because on the day when you committed the default, you are a director, Baba, you knew. and you have not filed it, then that is again another offense. So they say you will not vacate on that day. Okay. No immediate vacation for 164(2). But he will vacate in all other companies where he is a director. Straight away. Okay. This is first. Second, do you remember he absents himself from all the meetings of the board of directors held during a period of 12 months with or without seeking leave of absence of the board? See, earlier they said if he seeks the leave of absence of the board, he can be excused. But now they are saying, boss, if you are absent from all the meetings of the board during a period of 12 months, whether you seek leave of a board or not, you will vacate office. In order to prevent this only, we appoint alternate director. The alternate director will attend the meetings during the absence of the original director, so that he can avoid vacation on this ground. But one thing, suppose there are, later on, we will come in the next third topic, we will see we will see meetings of board. There you will see that number of meetings, frequency and all. Hardly 3 meetings can be held. He can attend 1 meeting, and he can absent from 2 other. He can attend 1 meeting. He won't vacate. Only if he absents from all the meetings, he will vacate. He acts in contravention of the provisions of section 184, right? Relating to entering into contracts or arrangements. We already saw that, 188, 184. I will be teaching 184 later when we come to powers of board and meetings of directors. Okay. So, any contravention of that section, he will vacate. When we come to 184, again I will remind you. This is one of the grounds for vacation, like that. I will remind you, don't worry. He fails to disclose his interest in any contract, etc. under 184. I will teach you what this is when you come to 184. Surely. And when at that time I will again scream, I will say, hey, this is one of the grounds for vacation of office, like that. Even if you have forgotten, I will remind you. Don't worry. But after that, you have to remember. At least in the exam hall, you should remember. He becomes disqualified by an order of a court or the tribunal. Again, I have a doubt. These 2 items already covered in 165. Already covered in 165 grounds for disqualification. Right. Again, why bring it under vacation? Possibly because they want to give you this appellate benefit. So they are bringing it here. He becomes disqualified by an order of court or tribunal, or he is convicted by a court of an offence involving, whether involving moral turpitude or not, and sentenced as respect thereof to imprisonment for not less than 6 months. Why they bring E and Fs again? See, remember, some of you could logically, I wish Dara would ask me logically, sir, you told A, he incurs any of the disqualifications specified in 164. These 2 are already disqualifications. Why again mention them in vacation? Yeah, there seems to be a repetition here, but because these 2 are appealable. These 2 are appealable. So they are saying, suppose he has incurred these 2 disqualifications, he might go on appeal. Even if he goes on appeal, he will be disqualified. But vacation can be kept in abeyance. The office shall not be vacated in case the order under E or F he has preferred an appeal. So, he will be given 30 days from the date of order under E and F, from the order of disqualification by the court or tribunal or conviction for any offence. He is given 30 days. Within 30 days, he has to make an appeal to whichever appellate court, whatever appellate court, high court, whatever. Now, then, so long as that appeal is pending, he will not vacate office. If he makes an appeal within 30 days, so long as the appeal is pending, he will not vacate office. At the end of that appeal, the final order will come. In that order, he may win or he may lose. If he wins, no vacation, enjoy, run. If he loses, the law gives him second appeal. In most cases, there is a second appeal. Against the order of the tribunal, you can go to High Court. Against the order of the CET appeals, you can go to ITAT. Against ITAT, High Court. Against Fiat, High Court. Like that. Against NCLT, NCLAT. Against NCLAT, Supreme Court. Against the Competition Commission, only Supreme Court. Straight away you have to go there. Okay? No High Court. Straight away you have to go to Supreme Court. For your information. Now, later on, maybe in Competition Act, you will learn this. Okay, whatever it is. From the date of losing order of the appeal, on the first appeal, he is given 7 days now. Within 7 days, he has to make an appeal. Then again, no vacation. Then that second appeal will be heard. That could be almost, by this time, I am assuring you it will be 5 to 6 years. Then in that second appeal, he may either win or lose. If he wins, no vacation. If he loses, he vacates. So that is why they are separating E and F and giving here. Right? If he is removed in pursuance of this act, we'll be seeing removal of director. If he is removed, then automatically he will vacate. H. See, this fellow has been appointed by virtue of his holding any office or other employment, either in this company or holding subsidiary or associate company. He ceases to hold such office or other employment in that company. Think about it. Mr. A is the CFO, Chief Financial Officer, Chartered Accountant, Company Secretary, Cost Accountant. Big shot halo is coming from behind his head. Wow. So when he is appointed as CFO, they also request him, sir, why don't you also become a director of our company? Okay, chalta, let's do it. He becomes a director. Fantastic. Then 3 years later or 2 years later, he finds a better employment. So he resigns, gives his notice period, will deliver, etc., etc. Properly with good way, he shakes hands and he moves. Now the employment is ceasing now. He ceases to hold the office of CFO. He is becoming a director only because he is CFO. Because he is CFO of the company, they said, hey, CFO is a member of the board, sir, please become director. Once he ceases to be CFO, he will automatically vacate office as director. Are you able to understand? This could be asked in the exam as a question. Mr. Ram was appointed as CFO. As per the articles of association of the company, the CFO is a member of the board and he has become a director. Later, he resigns and he joins another company, ceases to be the CFO of this company. Can he be a director? No. He will vacate office under 167H. Okay. Any person who is functioning as a director, even when knowing that the office of director held by him has become vacant on account of any of the disqualifications, he'll be liable to a fine, minimum 1 lakh, maximum 5 lakhs. Okay. Now, it is quite possible that some of the disqualifications may apply to all the directors. And all the directors vacate their office on the same day. Then the promoter, or in his absence, the central government will appoint the requisite number of directors who will hold office till directors are appointed by the company in the general meeting. It's just a sort of a clarificatory point. Private company may provide additional, any other ground for vacation. In addition, okay, we'll also see for disqualification also, they say a private company may prescribe other disqualifications. I didn't cover this, now I'm covering it. A private company may, by its articles, provide for any disqualifications or appointment as a director in addition. For example, in addition to the above, 164, 1A to I plus 164, 2. In addition to that, they can say, any person who wants to become director of our company should have a mustache minimum 2 inches or 3 inches. Hey, that is their view, yeah. Private company can do all this. Okay, that was a joke. Nobody, I don't know. Somebody may say, man should have mustache. Otherwise, he cannot. And that too, bushy mustache. Proper mustache. Otherwise, you cannot be a director of my company. Private company can prescribe such things. And no, even mustache is valid. For example, they might say only chartered accountants can become director. Education, they can prescribe. Private company is prescribed. Law has not prescribed. You see, for example, 5 of you may form a consulting company, wherein you will say, if you want to become a director of this company, you should be a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. That's all. Possible. You can. Similarly, private, but should be a private company. Okay. Once you become public, you can't put all such conditions. Anybody can become. Other than these, no other disqualification. Similarly, private company can prescribe additional grounds for vacation also. Okay. Right. Now, there are other grounds. See, we saw 167. Other than 167, there are other grounds under other sections in the law. For example, 207 and 217, we'll be seeing, I don't know, maybe I or some other faculty will be covering inspection and investigation under 207 and 217, where a person, see, under that, after the investigation is completed, based on the report of the inspector, the central government can prosecute directors, and such prosecution may result in conviction. You will be seeing 207, 217 offenses and all that. The minute he is convicted under 207 or 217, according to that section, under that section, the director shall be deemed to have vacated his office from the date of conviction. On such vacation, he shall be disqualified from holding. So this is in addition, 165, 167 plus this. Okay. Now we are going to talk about resignation of a director. Resignation of director. Resignation. A director may resign from his office by giving a notice in writing to the company. In those days, there was no specific section for resignation in the Act. So the rules relating to resignation of directors was based on general law, especially British case laws. Today, we don't have to rely on those case laws. Our law has got a specific provision for resignation. They give the procedure, they say director may resign by giving a notice in writing. The board of directors shall, on receipt of such notice, take note of the same, and the company shall intimate the registrar within 30 days from the date of receipt of the notice of resignation in form DIR 12. The same form you uploaded now for appointment. Therein you have to give the notice of resignation and post the information on its website, if any. So once you give the notice, it should be taken note, obviously at a board meeting, and the company will intimate the registrar within 30 days. The company shall also place the fact of such registration in the report of directors laid in the immediately following general meeting by the company. Now, see, unfortunately, the section says a director may resign from his office. Okay. No, the section doesn't say that. If you want to resign, you have to give a notice in writing. That's all. If you don't want to, then everybody need not resign. But the guy who wants to resign should give a notice in writing. I have simplified the section. That's why I am using the word may. Section does not use the word may. Resignation itself. See, that way, Board of Studies material is verbatim section. By and large, it is section. By and large, most of it is section. Okay. So you can be assured that the wordings. What I have done is, I have taken the wordings of the section and I have made it a little more user-friendly by making like this. Now, so the director should send in writing, then the board of directors accept 30 days. You should intimate the registrar, form DIR 12, post the information. The company shall also place the fact of such resignation in the report of directors laid in the immediately following general meeting. In the director's report, they should mention about this resignation. The directors may also forward a copy of his resignation along with detailed reasons for the resignation to the registrar within 30 days of resignation in form DIR 11 along with the applicable fees. So this is a case where, so suppose the director has resigned for because there is a fraud or he feels that something serious, he wants to make it known. Then the company will obviously not inform all that to the registrar now. They will only say so-and-so resigned, personal reasons, blah. So this man can send a copy along with detailed reasons. He has been given that power. So once the registrar gets this now, this will be one of the grounds for calling for the informational explanations. Then maybe it might even lead to investigation. Where the company has already filed form DIR 12 with the registrar under Rule 15, a foreign director of such company resigning from his office may authorize in writing a practicing chartered accountant or cost accountant, etc., to sign form DIR 11 and file the same on his behalf, intimating the reasons for the resignation. See, foreign director may not have DIN or DSC. I'm sorry, he will have DIN, DSC. Still, they are giving up power to this gentleman to upload DIR 12. Okay, it's an option given to a foreign director. Very important. Effective date of resignation. The resignation of a director shall take effect from the date on which the notice is received by the company, or the date, if any, specified by the director in the notice, whichever is later. So I might, that Mr. A may send a resignation letter dated today, 21/10/2022. He might say, I hereby inform you that I am resigning from the office of director with effect from 31/10. So his effective date of resignation is 31/10. Or I am resigning as of with effect from today. Or nothing to the board of directors of Dubacor Limited. I so and so am resigning from the post of director. Thank you. Bye. Then today, date on which the notice is received by the company. Okay. The date of notice is very important. The date on which the notice is received is very important. You cannot draft a resignation letter, keep it in your drawer, and then say, I resign. That resignation should reach the company. Ideally, it should be sent by registered post or speed post or courier. Keep the proof. Better still, attend the board meeting. At the board meeting, announce your resignation, ask the secretary to minute it, and also give the resignation letter to the chairman. Absolutely the best way to do. So it's properly documented, and clearly from that point it will be clear. Or else send it by registered post and be happy with it. And from the date they receive it, you are resigned. See, this is mainly, very important. Suppose a company is going to be potentially 164(2). Today it is not. You are aware that one of these will going to happen in another 3 months. Now, if you are an intelligent man or lady, what you should do? First thing you should do is resign. That is why this provision is very important for us. In those days, that resignation used to be a big problem. You have to prove to the registrar. Sir, I resigned. When did you resign, sir? What is all this, sir? Like that, the regional director will talk. Here it's all clear. Send it by registered post. Keep the proof with you. Show it to the RD. Sir, on the date of default, I am not there. I have resigned 2 months ago. Oh, okay. Please give a letter in writing. We will remove your name from the list of offenders. This is a major protection. Okay. Now, but please note, this can only absolve you from future events, including disqualification when the default occurs. But the director shall be liable for any offense which occurred during his tenure. For earlier defaults and not filing, he will be liable. See, it is quite possible that a fellow may become director. That's why, they give 6 months time and all for this guy to resign and all that. Okay. All directors resigning or vacating on the same day, we already saw. The promoter or the central government should appoint. Right? Once the DSC is deactivated following en masse resignation of directors, then the registrar of companies are authorized on request from shareholders to allow one of the resigned directors, even though his DSC is invalidated, to activate it and use it only for this purpose. This is more of a procedural enabling section, nothing great. We move on to another very interesting and important topic. But before I go there, let's have a small break. Time is now 7:50. Let us sort of take a break for maximum 10 minutes. Maximum. And before you go. And only one request. Normally, you people will all keep raising doubts, etc., etc. Today, I don't know what's happening. Is the lecture boring or topic boring? There are no boring topics, only boring lecturers. So kindly keep the things going. Just put a couple of comments out there. If you are listening and if you are happy, okay. If you are happy and you know it, show it by putting a small comment there. And after the break, we will start removal of directors. Today, inshallah, we will finish this topic. Okay. Thank you. Nisargji, small break. Welcome back from a well-deserved break, and thanks to Mr. Soham Bakre for confirming that there are no doubts till now. Of course, there is one doubt. Jenna has asked about 1 month or 30 days. Good question, Ms. Jenna, but requesting, no, I'm now not very clear. I am seriously, I like your question, but kindly permit me to answer it in the next class. Okay, kindly permit me to answer it in the next class. Good question, noted, will be answered, not today. Maybe next class, which would be post Diwali, I will definitely answer. Okay, thank you. Wonderful. Now we come to another very important, possibly interesting section of the Companies Act, provisions of the Companies Act relating to removal of directors. So this topic, we began with appointment, then qualifications and disqualifications, and then we moved on to vacation, resignation, and now removal. So we are seeing Adi Anta, beginning and end. Okay. Some questions are coming from Dhritiman Bhaumik. One question, let us see, under section 177(3) will all be for reappointment. Under 167(3), what is that? Sir, you are really great. You are. Sorry, I was speaking when I was muted. So, Mr. Dhritiman Bhaumik is asking a question. Jenna, in case you didn't hear me, I will answer your question about 1 month or 30 days in the next class. Under 167(3), will all the directors be eligible for reappointment is the question. Let me see what he is talking about. Let me do one thing. Let me go. In fact, I will also show you the BAR Act. In case you want to refer to the BAR Act, see, you go to the Ministry of MCA website. Okay, MCA website, and you go to ebook. There you can actually search the ebook, or you can come here and say, sometimes it goes to the chapter, sometimes it, now it has gone. Okay, so let us go to chapter 21, appointment and qualifications of directors. There you will find, straight away you can go to your section. 167. The section will come. I'm surprised it's not yet come. Usually the section will come. Okay, I think some delay in the connection. Anyway, let us see. Yeah, you can even type out the section number and it will come to you. So because I'm in my notes, I have not given the section number. That is why I'm going to the actual, where the directors vacate their office under disqualifications, the promoter or his absence, central government shall appoint the required who shall hold office till. What is the doubt you are having here? I don't know. I have not mentioned the section number. Will all the directors be eligible for reappointment? No, sir. These guys are disqualified. They have gone. Now the company should have directors now. Dhritiman, please understand. The directors who are disqualified cannot be reappointed. All the directors have gone because of some ground. All have incurred. They have all gone. They vacated. Now who will be the director? That is why they say the promoter will appoint the directors. In case he does not do it, the central government will appoint the required number, minimum 2, 3, etc. for the purpose of maintaining, holding the general meeting and appointing proper directors. The disqualified directors cannot be reappointed. If that is your question, sorry, no. Okay, got it? Kindly confirm if I have answered your question. All the directors be eligible for reappointment. Your question itself is a little misunderstanding of 167(3). 167(3) or whatever you call it is meant to ensure that if all the directors vacate, the board of directors will become zero. To prevent that, they give permission, they give power to the promoter to appoint. Got it? So the disqualified fellows cannot be reappointed unless they get the disqualification removed by the central government or 5 years gets over and all. That's it. So, removal of directors. Now, a company may remove a director other than a director appointed by tribunal under section 242. Later on, you'll be seeing, we saw that now, appointment of directors by tribunal. That director cannot be removed by the shareholders. One more group cannot be removed by the directors. Do you remember who that is? Do you remember? Those guys who are appointed on the basis of proportional representation, where 2/3 of the board are appointed by the method of proportional representation, they cannot be removed by the members. Because the whole point is last now. They struggle so hard to come to the meeting and then you remove him. Not possible. Sir, if the company has now filed annual returns for the past 3 years, Soham ji, please read the disqualification. The disqualification occurs when there is a default for 3 consecutive years. The director will vacate office everywhere, except that company will be disqualified for reappointment everywhere. That disqualification will be there for 5 years, irrespective of whether this company is filing annual return or not. This company can rectify the defect, but that disqualification, nothing will happen. That disqualification will go on for 5 years for the director. Got it? Okay. So, unless you know, they can always apply to the central government and get it removed. That is always there. But rectifying the defect, filing the annual return will not help this fellow. If the 3rd year annual return due date or balance sheet due date is a longer date, financial statement. If that is gone, then 60 days gone, then he will be disqualified for 5 years. Which is why I am telling, resign before that happens. Resign before that happens. On that date, you should not be a director there. I have saved a lot of directors that way by resigning, making them resign and come out. They'll come to me and say, sir, this company, I'm a director, blah, blah. Then I will check up quickly and see whether still some hope is there. Then I will remove them from that. I will resign from that. Make them resign. Okay. Got it? Thank you. Now, so an independent director reappointed for a 2nd term shall be removed by the company only by passing a special resolution. Please understand, independent director can be removed. Okay, or if he is reappointed. But 1st term, he cannot be removed. 1st term, he cannot be removed. 2nd term, 3 years. In that 2nd term, he can be removed. Again, you have to pass a special resolution. Right? See, these are all cases. In other cases, the concerned director shall be given a reasonable opportunity of being heard. Directors appointed by the method of proportional representation cannot be removed. So look at this. Director appointed by tribunal. Independent director during his 2nd term. Directors appointed by the method of proportional representation. So they might give you a list of like this 4 and they can say which of the following directors cannot be removed by the members. For example, I can say an independent director in his 1st term of office. An alternate director, like that. And finally, we will ask you which cannot be removed. You have to be careful. Just remember who cannot be removed. That's all. Special notice shall be required for any resolution to remove a director under this section or appoint somebody in place of a director so removed at the meeting at which he is removed. Okay. So, special notice shall be required for any resolution to remove a director under this section or appoint somebody in place of a director so removed. Now, friends, those of you who are attentive in intermediate will remember special notice. Maybe, even if you are not attentive, by now, if you are attentive, by now you would have forgotten. That's why, though it is not in your syllabus, I'm going to quickly show you special notice. So, if a company wants to remove a director or appoint somebody in the place of the director so removed at the meeting at which he is removed, you need to give special notice. See, special notice is covered by section 115. Special notice is mentioned in the law only in 2 sections. This section and removal of auditor. That's all. You studied that in intermediate syllabus, now final syllabus 1. Both cases 115. Special notice should be given wherever the Act says it should be given. The manner in which it should be given is section 115. Where any provision of the Act requires it shall be given, then Rule 23 is prescribed for giving special notice. See how they are mixed. Earlier, the section itself gave. Now you have to go to rule. So, section 115 will direct you to Rule 23. Rule 23 says, Special notice shall be given by such number of members holding not less than 1% of the total voting power, or holding shares on which aggregate sum of not less than 5 lakh has been paid up on the date of notice. 1% of TVP or 5 lakhs. Only they can give a special notice. Why they are giving? Special notice is being given to remove the guy. Special notice shall be sent by the members to the company not earlier than 3 months, but at least 14 days before the date of the meeting. 14 clear days, excluding the day on which the notice is given, service of notice, and the day of the meeting. The company shall immediately after the receipt of the notice give its members notice of the resolution at least 7 days. Where it is not practicable, then they may publish it in 2 newspapers. See, remember, compare this with when a man proposes his candidature. There, you have to give notice. Here, if it is not practicable, you can give it in 2 newspapers straight away. For example, Infosys Limited. Suppose they have to give notice to all the shareholders. It will take time. Even email will take time. So they will simply publish some local newspaper. They will publish in 2 newspapers. Finish. That is cheaper for them. Believe me when I say this. That is cheaper for Infosys. Okay. Now you want to, but here where it is impracticable, where it is not practicable, you can do it. Special notice is received in accordance with 115, read with rule 23. Okay. And rule 24 or 23, I'll check up and put it. Company shall give notice of the special notice to members at least 7 days before the meeting. Company shall forthwith send a copy thereof to the director concerned. See, whenever you are proposing to remove your director, you should give the director an opportunity of being heard. Okay. So, you should give a notice to the members and the director should be given an opportunity to make representations. Where he makes representations, that should also be circulated to every member. So that the member he sees, he should see the whole thing. The complete story should be seen. You want to remove that. Those people who propose special notice are saying, fellow is a useless fellow, we have to remove. He says, they are the problem. They are creating fraud. I am pointing it out. Therefore, they want to remove me. Therefore, the members will get both the viewpoints. Based on that, the members will come to the meeting and pass a resolution. Now, the director may make representation in writing. Now, remember, in case the representation is not sent by the director or it is received too late, the director can have it read out at the meeting. But the director should not misuse this privilege of giving representation to make defamatory statements or grossly incorrect and false statements, accusatory. In order to prevent that, they say any person who is aggrieved or the company itself can approach the tribunal and they can say, hey, this guy is misusing it, abusing his right to secure needless publicity for a defamatory matter, which is basically false allegation about us. Then if that is proved, then the tribunal will say, no need to read that, no need to be read out, no need to be sent. The tribunal may order the company's costs to be met by the person who made it. Okay. So the director is given an opportunity to make statements, but he cannot abuse it. Right. Now, vacancy created by the removal of a director under this section, you can fill by appointing somebody at that section itself, in that meeting itself. If so, you have to pass a special resolution. So the director so appointed shall hold office till the date up to which his predecessor would have held office if he had not been removed, similar to your casual vacancy. But if that vacancy is not filled up, it may be filled by as a casual vacancy. But the director who was removed cannot be reappointed, right? Now, again, later on when we come to remuneration, managerial remuneration, you will see that directors are eligible for compensation or damages. Now, in those cases, even if he is removed, he will still be eligible for compensation. Only in certain peculiar cases, we will see 5 matters are there where he cannot receive compensation. But normal removal, we don't like you, get out removal, you have to pay him compensation for loss of office. Only when he is guilty of fraud, etc., he cannot receive. Normal removal, we don't like you, get out, man. Okay, chalo, majority view, we move him. We have the right to remove you because we are the majority. We don't want you, get out. Chalo, you have the right to remove. Please go through the procedure 115, etc. Special notice, 7 days, blah, blah. Call the meeting. At the meeting, give him opportunity. Fellow will come, talk, listen to him, laugh, pass the resolution, check him out. Nobody can do anything if it is within the law. Hey, these sections are very, very important when there is a quarrel between the groups in the company. At that time, if you are ever an auditor of such a company, your knowledge of the sections will become very tested. At that time, you know what you should do? You should just take out your old study material and read or check out the new sections. By then, the MCA would have altered it many times. And update yourself and go for the meetings. Don't go without preparation. Okay. Anyway. Similarly, so still he will be eligible for compensation. Section 169 shall not have the effect of derogating from any power to remove under other provisions of this Act. Okay, by members, if there are, a director may be removed by Tribunal 242. Where an application has been made to it under section 241. Okay. Tribunal can remove. Directors appointed by tribunal cannot be removed by members. But any director can be removed by tribunal. Where it is during oppression and mismanagement, it is shown that this fellow has mismanaged the company. Then the tribunal can set aside or he can remove him. And also they can terminate or set aside or modify any agreement between the director and any director. The director so removed shall not be entitled to any compensation, and he cannot be appointed as a director for a period of 5 years without seeking the leave of the tribunal. Right? This is also a ground for disqualification, where he is, convicted. He cannot be. Now, today, luckily, I don't know, I'm able to complete the topic pretty much early. Let us see if we can complete this. Hardly another 10 slides more. Unless you have some more doubts, I can take it up. If you have doubts. Good. See, one of the reasons why we are able to go fast, I now realize earlier there used to be so many queries. When I used to conduct in 1 or 2 earlier sessions, there used to be so many queries. But luckily, in your case, you people are able to understand the topic well. Therefore, there are no major queries. So things are going smooth. If this is good, then many of the topics we can cover well in time. I will use some of the buffer time I have in other classes to discuss practical questions, etc., etc. Okay. Now we just have to go through some procedural provisions. One is key managerial personnel. Just as we are seeing appointment of directors, we have to see also KMP. Who is a KMP? Key managerial personnel. Already somebody was asking. These guys are the KMPs. Chief Executive Officer or MD or Manager. Company Secretary, KMP. Old-time Director, KMP. Chief Financial Officer, KMP. Such other officer, not more than one level below the directors, who is in the whole-time employment of the company, designated as a KMP by the board. So the board can say, VPs are all KMPs. They will come one below the directors, vice presidents. They are not director, but they will say VP Finance, VP Marketing, VP Operations. You fellows are all KMPs. Then they will also become KMP. I mean, some big companies, it's quite possible. Yeah, there may be a finance director, then there will be vice president's finance. 3 of them will be there. Then below them, there will be chief managers, general manager, chief manager, like large companies. Okay, you may join one such company and you will be promoted till you can go right up to GM Finance, then finally VP Finance. And then if you become CFO or finance director, you can go to the board. At that time, you'll be. But even as you become VP Finance, they may designate you as a KMP, key managerial personnel. See, no great joy. Okay, of course, they are going to pay you a fat salary, but along with that, huge responsibility. Every section under the Companies Act, you will be officer in default. Because officer in default includes key managerial personnel. So there's no, in fact, these company secretaries were celebrating and breaking the champagne and saying, we have become KMP, we have become KMP. I said, hey, what do you mean you have become KMP? You are going to become liable under all these sections. What joy in that? You don't break the champagne so fast. But what to do? They're so proud that they have become KMP. I said, key managerial personnel means you are caught, yeah. If anything goes wrong, you have to go to jail. Is it okay for you? No, Mr. Srikanth, this is an important honor that the MCA has communicated on us. Okay, chalo, I will also celebrate, come. But one day you will realize what danger you have put yourself in, is what I used to say. See, unless you become CFO or you become designated, normally chartered accountants are not KMPs. Even at higher positions, they are not KMPs. Safe to be not a KMP. No joy in becoming KMP. Because the minute you become KMP, you are an officer in default. Along with all the rest of the case, you also will go to jail. Why? Why get into that? Okay, take your salary, enjoy your life here. Okay. Do your job honestly. That's all. What is that? So, the company should maintain a register of directors and KMPs, giving the DIN in the. For KMP, there is no DIN, but for director, you have to give the DIN, present name and surname, former name and surname, father's name, mother's name, spouse's name if married, and surnames in full, date of birth, residential address, etc., nationality, occupation, etc. It's just procedural, not very important. PAN also is mandatory for KMP if not giving DIN. Okay. See, anyway, at that position in the company, 100% would have taken the PAN from him. So much minimum TDS ke liye we might have taken a PAN from him. In addition to the details of directors or KMP, company shall also include in the aforesaid register details of securities held by them in the company, its holding company, subsidiaries of the company's holding company and associated companies. Complete. So idea is we should know whether these fellows are holding shares in the company. Movement also will be seen. So this is not a great control for insider trading, but in a way this becomes additional evidence. Not providing the information is an offense. So suppose this director is doing insider trading in his name, he is having one more DP account and is doing trading. You can always say, hey, you are bound to disclose to the company and it should be entered in this register. Why you have not disclosed? That is an offense. Like that. Okay, so all the detail, you have to give details like date of disposal, etc., etc. It is the duty of the director to give it. Okay, a return containing the particulars of appointment of director, key managerial personnel, etc., shall be filed with the registrar in form DIR 12. Same form. We saw it earlier in appointment. We are again seeing it. Okay, along with the fee for within 30 days of such appointment or change as the case may be. Right. This register of directors and KMP can be inspected. See, always remember, inspection provisions, I'm sure you would have seen it in intermediate when you came to administration, management and administration. All statutory registers, most of the statutory registers are inspectable. Only question, who can inspect? Sometimes it can be inspected by members. Sometimes it can be inspected by public also, anybody. This register can be inspected only by members. When? During business hours. Can they take extracts and copies? Absolutely they can. They are the members of the right. Copies can be requested and should be provided free of cost within 30 days. This register should also be kept open for inspection at every AGM. So that, mainly because at the AGM, these people will go through their shareholding rate to find out how many shares he is having, etc. So it should be kept open at the AGM. And if any inspection of this register is refused, or if any copy is not sent within 30 days, then the registrar shall, on an application made to him, order immediate inspection and supply the copies required. Section 170 and 171, these two sections, shall not, inspection section, shall not apply to government company, where entire share capital is held by central government. Because Dara Shah, many sections will not apply to government company. So don't keep on asking why it's not there, why it's not there. Reason. Government companies come under more stringent controls. And there is no need for Companies Act to control. That is why we exempt government companies. This is a nice section. I just thought I will introduce you to it. Section 172. Where no penalty is prescribed, if a company contravenes any of the provisions of this chapter, for which no specific punishment is provided, then the company and every officer of the company who is in default shall be punished with fine. See, every officer who is in default includes key managerial personnel. Please, shall be punishable with fine or 50,000 rupees. In case of continuing offences, 500 rupees, subject to for each day, subject to a maximum of 3 lakhs. Okay. and 1 lakh in the case of officer who is in default. Now, as I was anticipating, this topic has been completed a little early. Unless you have any more questions, you may permit me to close a little early today. Okay? Topic is over. I'm waiting for any more questions to be asked by all of you. Maybe I'll give another 5 minutes to you all. And I will also be uploading some assignments. And this material PDF, I will upload it today so that you can go ahead and revise with it. Further questions can be asked. Next topic will be covered post Diwali. So since we are getting into the Diwali weekend, Diwali is there on 24th, then 25th, 26th. Inshallah, we will have our next session when I will start the topic on, I think, managerial remuneration. Okay, appointment and remuneration of managerial personnel. Right? So, any questions? Kindly ask. Okay, I'm not getting any major queries here. I shall presume that no queries are there. And as Soham Bakre comes first, no doubt still now. 1 or 2 of you just confirm that everything is through so that I can close for the day. Okay, good show. Nizar, are you there? See, the topic got over today, so I'm going to close a little early, right? So I'm now closing the session. Just wait for another 2 minutes. So, yeah. We will wait. Just give me 1 minute. Yes, my dear friends, I'm so happy that this topic is over. And thank you, Aniket Jain, for wishing Happy Diwali in advance. And thank you, Sohamji. I wish all my students a very happy Diwali and look forward to meeting you all, inshallah, on 26th. Bye. Till then, stay safe. Bye.